Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Okay, everybody, how y'all doing? Peace, everybody out there who's coming into the chat room. I appreciate you coming in. This is the Information Man. All right, everybody, good to see you out there. Hope everyone is doing well. Let me just say a few things. This live stream won't be 2 hours or 3 hours. It just depends on, if people are really into the topic. But today, I'm going to get into this presentation. As you know, you have the militia, the white militia that went up into Michigan. It's happening all over the country, where you have these groups, in my mind, using the COVID-19 as a front for pushing their agenda, an excuse for them to show their guns in force, their arms in force, and say, we're tired of being on lockdown. Now, everyone has been telling us that we're all in this together. But what I'm noticing is that how different people, different groups and people get treated based on who they are, skin color, tone, what have you. That's what America is developed this way. We are not a melting pot. We are a solid bowl made up of many different people, but don't understand each other or respect one's culture. Now, you got this COVID-19 going on, folks, and they're telling people to shelter and stay in. I understand that there are people out there who want to get back to work, that have bills to pay, responsibilities to deal with. Let me say peace to RY, the TR show coming in the house right now. Peace to you. Sister B is in the house. No nonsense is in the house. Thank you, sister. I want to say again, you gave me a great, you definitely supported the channel. You gave me a great cash app, and I appreciate that once more. I saw we had my man Water Sniper. I see he came in. And we got my brother right here. I'm going to say what's up to him through the chat because I don't want to try to pronounce his name and ruin it. So I'm going to say peace to you, brother. So what I want to talk about, pretty much around what's been going on in the country. There's a lot of people struggling. I understand that. There's a lot of people who did not get the stimulus check, and there's a lot of people who need that stimulus check, and there's a lot of people who got ripped off by the feds because they gave all the money to the corporations. People applying for the SBA loan. I did a video on how you prepare yourself for SB loan preparation to make your chances of getting it great. But the corporations, the big businesses, they can gobble everything up because they have these relationships. Okay. And then you had the LA Lakers, who got about 4.6 million, if I'm not mistaken, out of this deal, and they gave the money back. And you're asking yourself, how are they getting the money? You got to remember, and I'm going to be doing some shows on this. You got to remember that a lot of these guys in big business and those working in government, they know each other. They went to school together. They're members of things like Skull and Bones and Masonic organizations. One hand will always wash the other. So when you're wondering why is it these corporations get the money, these folks have gone to school together. They're chanting the same secret words together, the same secret handshakes together. They're going to always look after their brothers that are in these corporate society. I had to say that. If people are wondering, well, why is it that they're getting all the money? Now, when you look at, once again, this situation in Michigan where they're attacking the Democratic governor, and don't get me wrong or mixed up, I don't care about either one of these political parties, whether Democrat or Republican. They both are despicable. They both leave us dry. One screws you with Vaseline, the other screws you without Vaseline. Now, for those of you that are listening to the presentation at this time, if you don't want to hear truth, if you don't want to hear it said raw and to the point, then turn the channel. Go away. Because I have to be honest, I have another part of this presentation that's very special, because this day is a very special day in history that some of you may not be aware of, that connects to what I'm talking about when you look at the thumbnail of these men right there. This is a militia group. Here's another thumbnail picture. They went into Michigan, as you know, into the state house, and their goal was to go right up into the chambers where they make laws in the state of Michigan, and also defying a state shelter and stay in or lockdown. We're using we're setting up here using what I would call the language. I'm just going to keep it real. We're using jailhouse language, lockdown and all that kind of stuff. Makes you want to laugh. It's a damn shame. That's right. So they decided to, reinforce their rights as citizens to carry their arms. And from what I understand, in the state of Michigan, it's an open carry state, and you can carry weapons in the state building. Now, this is the thing that one must examine quite seriously, is when you look at these groups and you say, oh, these are just everyday citizens that are fighting against tyranny, fighting against the government invading our privacy, our way of life as Americans, because we want to get back to work. We want to get to the nail shops. We want to get to the barber shops. We want to open up our businesses, go to the hot dog stands. We want to go to the movie theater. We want to not lose money. Now you think, oh, this is an organic movement. This is an organic protest. That's bullshit. Okay, I call foul on it. And it's a disappointment. This isn't any organic movement. You see, most of these protesters that you see out here flashing their guns, a lot of them are, or most of them, or all of them are Trump supporters. Even Trump himself said that the people protesting, a lot of them are fans of his or supporters. Even after they went up in the state house with guns, getting ready to force themselves into the chambers, and you had assembly members who admitted that they had bulletproof vests on. And they were getting up in the face of the police, getting real nasty with them, and such like this. And the police did not arrest any of these individuals. The police did not put a finger on them. You didn't see any pictures on the news of fighting, people being arrested, handcuffed, and all of that. What the police did is they sort of got in front of these protesters. Or these, I don't call them protesters. I call these people Donald Trump operatives. These are militia who are using the COVID-19 as an opportunity to push their agenda, which is all wrapped up into the right to bear arms. When you see people walking around with their arms like that, they're trying to send a message. One, don't mess with me, and two, I can do what I want. I'm American. But when it comes to white men, and I got to be honest, when it comes to white America, which is why you see mostly white men and white women out there very upset, is because white America is not used to having to go without, as other groups have gone without. They're not used to going without. And it is their way of shouting out, screaming out, and saying, you're not going to treat us the way you do those Negroes, those black folks and other groups. You can tell them to stay inside. You can tell them lose your money. You can say that they're the ones have COVID-19, so they say on the news. But I'm not one of them. You see, I'm American, I'm white, and I'm boss. Now, I know some of you out there who are new subscribers, maybe subscribers of other persuasions, are going to probably say, God damn it, I'm going to unsubscribe from this information man. Do what you got to do. I'm getting back to what I did in the past. I'm taking the goddamn gloves off. I got to tell the truth. And that disappoints you, I'm going to tell the truth and do what is necessary. Because in America, there is a double standard. What's going on, Brother Earl Owens? P Money is in the house. Haven't seen you in a minute, but glad to see you here. We got Lee Cow, ADOS in the house. Still have that money. Peace to you. If I said you didn't, Cap, PY2. My brother Nagoon is in the house. Oh, 6 to my Fred brother out there. Brother, I just had an anniversary, 31 years in Alpha. 31 years. Now, there's a double standard, and before those of y'all in the chat room leave, or those listening turn it all off, I got some very important things to show you and bring up that is in comparison and contrast to what you've seen in Michigan. Because those white folks in Michigan said, you ain't gonna treat us like this. We goddamn American. And they were pushing the narrative of the man who says, let's make America great again. Even when they asked Donald Trump, what was his thought about what they did going up into the state building armed like that? And he said that they were very good people. The same damn way when they had that protest out there in, what was that? Flocksville, Ellaville, whatever damn backwards wood that we got in these southern states. Charlottesville. And them people came out there with their torches, tiki torches that they got from freaking Walmart or something like that, saying you will not replace us, talking about Jewish people and other groups of people. You will not replace us. They were protesting, demonstrating, pushing forth executing the racism, or what we call white supremacy. And believe me, no one is supreme to us, but part of white supremacy is to put a projection out there into the atmosphere that we are supreme, that we control you, that we're going to control all areas of activity, whether it be your education, your economics, your military, your sex, everything. Religion. Oh yeah, it controls religion too. How can it not? How many of you out there are worshiping a blue-eyed, blonde-eyed, haired Jesus? Come on now, black folks who have had these photographs in your hanging on your wall. I've got to tell the 100 adulterated in truth.
Truth.
That's right. I must tell truth.
Tell the truth.
So what you got here is that these white men were able to successfully go to the state building, cause a ruckus. Let me play something for you right here, folks, as we continue the presentation. And hang in there with me, because I got something that you must see that gives a comparison and to what I'm talking about, and how there's a double standard depending on who's got those guns in their hands, those arms in their hands, and who's protesting. Listen to this.
Some of whom were armed with semi-automatic weapons. My colleagues who own bulletproof vests are wearing them, tweeted one representative.
I'm not embarrassed to say that I was afraid.
Now the president is weighing in support of the protesters. These are very good people, but they are angry, he tweeted. They want their lives back again. See them, talk to them, make a deal. Governor Gretchen Whitmer is standing her ground.
The worst thing we could do is to abandon all social distancing, to pretend like we are done with COVID-19.
Maine's Governor Janet Mills is also under fire today for keeping her state in lockdown.
I would love to share Janet Mills' cell phone number with everybody.
This angry restaurant owner gave the governor's private cell phone number out on Fox News.
It's 207.
I don't know.
491.
Okay, hold on, wait. Thank
we
you.
can start a revolution and come up and let's get the state back open.
In North Carolina, this guy wants to know why the guns.
If you want to have a reasonable conversation with somebody, you don't show up armed.
And Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is facing tough questions after his wife reportedly skipped town to ride out the pandemic at their $12 million horse farm in Florida.
Where's the First Lady? Has she engaged in non-essential travel?
I'm just not going to answer that question. It's inappropriate, and I find it...
Anger we're seeing across the nation is not surprising. There is real suffering out there. The unemployment rate has hit 18%, a level not seen since the Great Depression of the 1930s. And some governors are responding to the pressure.
At least 33 states have now eased their own rules, while some other states extend orders to stay home, and reported infections continue to rise.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is urging caution.
There's no doubt in my mind that when you pull back mitigation, you're going to start seeing cases crop up here and there. And if you're not able to handle them, you're going to see another peak, a spike.
I'm Jim Moray in Newport Beach, California. The governor has shut down the beaches in this county, but there are at least 24 surfers in the water. Police are patrolling the parking lots and lifeguards are on the sand, but no one seems to be enforcing the shutdown. Surfers tell us they don't care about the ban. They're going in the water anyway.
A large crowd gathered in Huntington Beach to protest beach closures. Not much social distancing here. Meantime, thousands of cruise ship workers stranded
Tell the truth.
Some of them were armed with semi-automatic weapons.
There it is. Just to give you a little taste of the audio clips of what was happening not too long ago. And I know most of you have heard about this in the news and everything like that. So I definitely realize that. Let me let you know who was out there. Now, on that audio clip, you notice all those people, if you looked at the news, all the people that are out there protesting this, I got to be honest, it's white America. You see, black people, we've always been living in a shelter and inn. Because as a black man, you can go outside your door and you can be subject to mistreatment, whether it be by police officers. I'm going to be doing a story real soon, a podcast very soon about what happened in Rancho Cordova, California, where the police in Rancho Cordova are corrupt to the rotten egg and apple core. I'm going to go over that story very soon. We can be subject to the mistreatment when we go out our doors. We can be subject to being profiled. There was also another brother who was jogging and he was killed by some yahoos. He was jogging and they accused him of breaking into a house or some building or some house that wasn't even complete in its construction. And he was minding his own business and he was jogging. How many of y'all know about that story? I'm going to do a quick podcast on that. And he got shot by 2 yahoos. So black people, we already been under a state of sheltering in. We didn't need coronavirus to put us in sheltering in. We've been in sheltering in. Now you look on this damn picture I got up here right now. And if y'all don't like what I got to say, anybody, then unsubscribe. Because I'm sick of what's going on. On that picture, they look at them. They're all armed. Now, if this put this in your mind. As you heard on the audio, Donald Trump said they were good people. Just talk to them. Negotiate. Cut a goddamn deal.
Tell the truth.
If that was black men in the state of Michigan or anywhere on this planet, we come down on a state government building to protest, what do you think would have happened? Even in New York, where you had the Jewish people in New York who took control of the streets because they were trying to give a funeral and a remembrance to their rabbi. Even the New York police treated them well. Yeah, they pushed them off the streets. Yeah, they got them off the streets. But you didn't hear about any mass arrests. You didn't hear about anybody knocking billy clubs to their heads, knocking their heads off their heads. No. Or that they're in jail right now, even though they violated the governor's order. Black people, we can protest somebody being shot wrongfully by the police, and then now all of a sudden they bring the riot cops out. Now look. I did a story, check out my YouTube channel, about what was happening in Oakland, California, in the Bay Area, in terms of how expensive it is to rent a house or to buy a house. There were 3 sisters. They're a part of an organization or a group, Mothers for Fair Housing. They're homeless. And they took over a house in West Oakland. I did the story. It's on my YouTube channel. I went live on that one. And the police, the stinky police of Oakland, they brought riot gear. They brought military style vehicles just to take women out of a house in the middle of the night. Women who needed housing because it's too goddamn expensive to live in California, and the rent is too goddamn expensive. Black people, when we speak out about how we're not living right, nobody cares. We get arrested for it. Now, white folks can get up in the streets and scream and yell and talk about the First Amendment right, and I got the right to bear arms, and they can mobilize militias. Now, isn't it funny how they got militias that still exist today, but yet when black people organize organizations like the Black Panther Party and exercise our rights as citizens, we're called militant. We're called out of control, destructive. Now, what would have happened? What would you all think would have happened if that had been black folks in Michigan that would have did what these folks did? Do you think they would have walked away without being arrested? You would think they would have been walked away without having police guards on them heavy? You think they wouldn't have called in more police and say, we've got a situation here in the state house, any state house of this country, it could happen. Don't you know they would say, we got a situation here. We have African American, we have black people out here with guns. You got schools where children had their life taken away because someone walked up in the school with a weapon. People talk about we need more gun control. We need more laws to protect us. Why do we have guns? Why are people able to buy guns, NRA? Guns that are not even meant for hunting. And people say, no, we have the right to bear arms. You don't need gun control. People kill people. Guns don't kill people. Well, last time I checked, a person can't kill somebody unless they have one of these weapons in their hand. And I'm not saying you don't have the right to bear arms. Don't get me wrong. But the thing that's not right about this is that I bet you any kind of money, if black people in this country right now went out and purchased guns legally, I'm going to say it again. If black people, men and women of adult age, went out and purchased guns legally, and I'm saying that legally so that nobody can turn around and say he's talking about getting them illegal. No, I did not say it legally. I guarantee you would have gun control in America with the quickness. America would be a concern. The FBI and every other alphabet boy organization would be monitoring the number of guns that black people are buying. Now check. Now, when President Obama was in office, there were more guns being brought by white America than any other president at that time, because they thought that Obama was going to take away their guns. This mythology that they're going to take away your guns is the wedge issue that these people at Michigan, in that I don't even call it a protest. It was organized. Let me tell you how it was organized, folks. Let me tell you, and peace to everybody in the chat room. Thank you for being here. No nonsense. Don's Means, thank you for being here. RV, thank you for being here. Mary Jane TV Creations, thank you for being here. Check out her show. She gives the tea and the gossip of what's happening out here in the entertainment world, out here in the social world. Check out, I'm going to say it again, check out Mary Jane's TV Creations. Everyday people, I see you. You can't get away from me. I see you in the chat room. I see Maurice in the chat room. Thank you, brother, for being here. You can't get away from me. I see you. Knowledge Seeker, I see you. You can't get away from me as well. And my man, Earl Owens, you can't get away from me. And Cap PY2, you can't get away from me. I see you all out there. Now, this whole protest you're seeing around the country, this stuff is organized, okay? The right wing moving against public health measures designed to stave off the coronavirus pandemic escalation on this past Thursday, as armed gunmen were among those who stormed the Michigan State House and tried to enter the legislation chambers. Now, what if black folks had have done that? Hell, if we do that without guns, they would pop us upside our head, beat us with billy clubs, say take him away, charge him. You've got no business being in these chambers. And I know for somebody out there that's going to say, well, info, come on now, man. In Michigan, it's open. They have an open right to carry guns. And according to the law, they can go into the state house with guns. But the politicians there didn't see it that way because they had bulletproof vests on, some of them. Now, the protesters entered the building after holding a small rally outside the State House in Lansing, Michigan, calling for an end of the Democratic governor. See, this is politics. They're using COVID-19 as well as Donald Trump when he gives his briefings every day. It's a political rally, folks. This is all politics at the expense of people that are dying of this COVID-19. This is politics. Donald Trump doesn't like the Democratic states. He doesn't like blue states in particular. But these individuals who are nothing but Trump supporter, mega hat wearing individuals, Trump can't do no wrong. As if we've never protest and we've never had criticism of presidents before this man. But you can't say anything about him. Everything he does, he's right. He tells you to drink disinfectant, put disinfectant in your body. Bam, hit your body with disinfectant. And when you call them out on that, people want to make excuses for that. Now, this was all about the Democratic governor of Michigan and these Trump supporters who didn't like the stay-at-home order. They were using it as an excuse to have a reason to go out there and protest and push the "We gonna make America white again." That's what it really means. We make America great again is a dog whistle to white America who believe in Donald Trump's racism, that we're going to make America white again. Nothing but that. It's nothing but that. So they use the stay-at-home order in accordance with the guidance from the public health experts due to coronavirus pandemic. This so-called protests out there, this so-called American Patriots Rally, that's what it is. When you hear those type of words, folks, American Patriots, all that kind of talk, these are nothing but militia groups. These are nothing but, in my mind, racist type groups who want America to go back to the days when we were in shackle slavery, the days where they could tell you where you could live and where you can't live, the day where they could treat you, they could kill it, they could take a black man's life, hang you from a tree, and get away with it. That's what they want to go back to when they say make America great again. No doubt about it. The so-called American Patriots Rally was organized by a recently formed group called the Michigan Unite for Liberty. When you hear those words, these are the buzzwords, folks. When you hear these type of words, these are the buzzwords that you gotta be aware of that really means something else. These are the buzzwords. And they came 2 weeks after a similar protest, doubling up an Operation Gridlock, creating traffic jams outside the governor's building. Traffic jams. If black folks did that, just walking protesting, they put the hoses on us like they did to us back in the 60s and 50s and during civil rights movement. Some demonstrators on Thursdays wore "Make America Great Again," like I said to y'all, hats, while others carried firearms into the Capitol building. It is legal to carry a visible weapon in Michigan. Now, here comes the double standard, folks. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Here comes the double standard. So you see on this picture, they're standing there with their guns profiling, wearing army fatigue like they're getting ready to go to war. When you see these militia groups, these white militia groups dressing like this, they're sending you they're sending a message. They're telling you who's in control, who is boss, who's not boss. I'm boss. I can go up in a state building, protest, show my guns, and I ain't going to get arrested. A, I'm not going to get hurt. B, and C, I'm going to get what I want because I'm in control. Once again, you're not going to treat us the way you treat them Negroes. You ain't going to have us out of work. You ain't going to have us living in poverty. This is nothing but Darwinism, the survival of the fittest type of shit. Now let me show you. Here comes the double standard. Here comes the double damn standard. Now right there on that picture, I'm proud to say actually, that's Bobby Seale and Huey Newton for those of you who don't know the history. And for you millennials who don't know the history, let me break the history down to you. The Black Panther Party was founded in Oakland, California. And I lived in Oakland for about 10 years. Love Oakland, California. Beautiful city. It gets overshadowed by San Francisco. Let me tell you, San Francisco got just as much violence, if not more. But once again, Oakland gets overshadowed and gets labeled as a violent city when it ain't really that violent as you think. Especially when you got corrupt police. I remember living there, you had a group called the Riders that were going around oppressing black people, putting drugs on black people. That's why I was saying earlier, black people, we already been living in a stay in shelter. Because we can get ourselves hurt out here, unfortunately and unbelievably at any damn time with some of these race soldiers. I'm going to tell it like it is. If you got to unsubscribe, then go ahead and do it. Gloves are off. So that's the Black Panther Party, Bobby Seale, and Huey Newton. Now, let me tell you the history. This is why there's a double standard. The Black Panther Party, this is the anniversary of the Black Panther Party. Let me tell you something. This is the anniversary this is the day, May the 2nd, 1967, when the Black Panther Party went up to the state capitol of California, armed. They called them armed invaders. They went up to the capitol on May the 2nd, 1967. I'm going to say it again. 24 armed, they called them Negroes at that time. They called us Negroes, okay. 24 black people entered the state capitol at noon on today's date, May 2nd, and 10 made their way to the back of the assembly. I'm going to continue this because this is the double standard that y'all need to understand. This is the Information Man Show. If you didn't know. So they made their way to the back of the assembly chamber before they were disarmed. Now, did any of you hear about any of these militias, these protesters around the country? Not just Michigan, but this was happening in different states. A lot of these red states, and if you didn't know, these red states are being subsidized mainly by the blue states, the Democratic states. They disarmed the Black Panther Party. None of those individuals in Michigan or that we heard around the country got their weapons taken from them. And when the Black Panther Party went up to the state building to get this right in California, in Sacramento, California, at that time, it was legal in the state of California to bear your arms as long as you did not have a bullet in the chamber. You could do it. Even at that time when the Black Panther Party went into the state buildings in California, it was just as legal. It was just as legal as what they did. But they didn't get their weapons taken from them. The Black Panther Party members got their weapons grabbed up. They showed their arms within the law. The assembly was in session at the time the speaker, Carlos B., ordered the men removed from the chamber, the Black Panther Party. Outside the chambers, the police took away the weapons. None of those individuals in Michigan got their weapons taken away. And they were following the same laws that they followed, meaning they could have their arms out, as I said before. They could go into the state building. And those protesters in Michigan were trying to force their way into the chambers. All the police did, as you can see right here, is they just stood there. Why, look at this buffoon right here. He's screaming in their faces, all of them. Now, if that was black men doing that, there would be some arrest and some head cracking. But they could get up in their faces. Harm comes to them. No weapons taken away from them. But the Black Panther Party, they go up to the state buildings. And their weapons are taken away from them. Listen to what I'm saying. They exercise the same rights in which the law was the same law that you have in places like Michigan, and their guns were removed from them. The men, the Black Panther Party, argued that they could carry the weapons as long as they were not concealed. Apparently, the fact that the weapons were not concealed was the reason the men were able to get as far as the assembly chambers before they were disarmed. So that's what I'm saying. As long as they weren't concealed. And the Black Panther Party on this day, May 2nd, today, back in 1967, the Black Panther Party was well within their rights legally, but still got harassed by the police. Apparently, the fact that the weapons were not concealed was the reason the men were able to get as far as the assembly chamber before weapons were disarmed from them. After the state police questioned the men, check this out. And this didn't happen to any of these protesters over this past week or this weekend or what you saw what's going on in Michigan. After the state police questioned the men, they returned the weapons to them. So they took the weapons away from them. They gave the weapons back to the Black Panthers. They didn't, first of all, they didn't take any weapons from anybody with this situation that happened in Michigan, and didn't give anything back to them. They just didn't want them to go inside the chambers where you already had politicians wearing bulletproof vests, at least some of them. So after the police questioned them, and you know, whenever black men are doing something to exercise our rights, we always get questioned by the police. It's funny how that works. That we get questioned all of a sudden by the police when we're exercising our rights. I'm going to tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
So after they were questioned, they always question us, as I said, the men, they returned the weapons to them because the intruders, they called them intruders, folks. The intruders had broke no law. So like I'm saying, the Black Panther Party didn't break any laws in 1967 on this day, May 2nd. That's why they had to give them their guns back. Just like that militia group on the picture I showed, they're exercising their rights. But no. When you're black, you can't exercise your rights. You're not seen as a citizen of these United Snakes of America. Oh, did I say Snakes of America? That was the original flag. Check it out, y'all. The original flag was United Snakes of America before they came out with the red, white, and blue situation. Following their release by the state police. Now, it was the state police who actually rounded the Black Panthers up. The men left. Now, after they had their interaction with the state police, let me break this down correctly. The Black Panther, members of the Black Panther left the Capitol, rejoined the rest of their companions or the rest of the other Black Panthers who remained outside during the incident. They then drove off in their cars peacefully, everybody. 4 or 5 carloads of the Black Panther Party group later drove into a service station at 15th and L Street. That's 15th and L Street. That's in Sacramento, California. Several police officers took the demonstrators to city jail. So after they exercised their right, which means they didn't break the law, their guns were returned to them. They left the state capitol, got in their car, decided to gas up their car because it's a long ass drive back to Oakland, California, the town, baby. And as a result, they got stopped. The damn cops were following them again, stopped them, and decided to arrest them. Several police officers took the demonstrators to the city jail of Sacramento, California. After an officer said they had not been charged with any offenses. So after they were not charged with any offenses, they were still arrested and added, "We're going to take them down." Check this out. They stated, "We're going to take them down and check all out. And we're going to check out all these weapons too." This is the Black Panther Party exercising their right under the law in California at that time, 1967. Outside of the police officer's office, one man, wow, man, this is a trip. It's really a trip.
Tell the truth.
Outside of the police officer, one man who identified himself as Bobby Seale of Oakland, he read a page-long statement to the Black Panther Party. And I'm going to read it to y'all right now. It declared this, black folks, everybody listening. The Black Panther Party for self-defense calls upon the American people in general and the black people in particular to take careful and note of the racist California legislation, which is considering a legislation armed at keeping black people disarmed and powerless at the very same time that racist police agencies throughout the country are intensifying their terrorism upon black people. That's right. And y'all wonder why we're talking about reparations. And any of y'all out there that I've debated on panels talking about, oh, black people gonna spend all the money, we don't need no reparations, I laugh at you. I laugh at you because we don't even have to go back to slavery to be able to make a claim on reparations. Look at how they were treating us. They were terrorizing us in this country. So anytime you hear a black person talking this coon and buck dance stuff about we don't need to be talking about no reparations and we don't need to be talking about no debt that America owes us, bullshit. Now, right now, America wants to label us the face of coronavirus. So they say, where is the economic package for us? These individuals went up to Michigan. These white guys went up to Michigan, these militia, these hate groups, these racist groups. Y'all know what they did to the Black Panther Party. They infiltrated it. That J. Edgar, you know what, Hoover piece of crap. They infiltrated the Black Panther Party and destroyed them. But yet I don't see the FBI or any of these organizations out here saying we gotta neutralize and get rid of these groups out here. Let's see the Ku Klux Klan. Let's see the skinhead groups. Let's see these militias that live up in Oregon and in Ohio and all these other places where they're using us as target practice. Or let's neutralize these police departments that are racist. Remember a couple years ago, folks, there was a police department while the police officers were training and practicing shooting their guns, they were specifically using pictures of black men as target practice. Did y'all remember that? And Bobby Seale went on to say that they're terrorizing us. They're pushing their brutality upon us. They're murdering us. The repression, suppressing, the suppression of black people. Bobby Seale was when he said this, he was referring to a bill by the Assemblyman Don Mofield, who was a representative of Piedmont. Now, Piedmont, if some of y'all don't know, let me give you a little history. Piedmont is like a little place that's been carved out in the middle of Oakland. It's kind of over in the Lake Merritt area of Oakland, near the downtown area of Oakland. It used to be a part of Oakland at one time, but it's an area where you have a lot of white folks live there, a lot of affluent folks that live there, as well as black folks, those who have money. You got to have money to live in that little small part. I call it Oakland, but they call it Piedmont. They made it their own small little city or town, right in the middle. So this is where this guy represented. Now, his assembly bill forbid carrying a loaded weapon within an incorporated area. Now, let me tell you what really made this happen. Once the Black Panther Party decided to do what they did and demonstrate in the way they did symbolically, at that time, and I can't stand him, Ronald Reagan at that time was the governor of California. And when it was all over television what they did, and when Ronald Reagan saw what they did and it was reported, they went buck wild in California. I mean, it was all hell break loose in California and in Sacramento. They said, oh, hell no. We got Negroes coming up here with guns, armed, even though they're following the law. Oh, no, this is not going to happen. And guess what? In California to this day, for those of y'all who know this history, that's the reason why we don't have open carry in California, because they changed the laws in California due to the Black Panthers exercising their rights under the law by demonstrating just like these good old boys right here. The good old boys can demonstrate, right? Look at them. You can tell that they wish that, and I wouldn't be surprised. This is the thing about these militias too. They got people in the militia that are military trained, but you'll find a lot of these militia guys, most of them, if you take their guns out of their hands, take that army fatigue outfits off of them, most of them are cowards without their guns. I wouldn't be surprised if most of these guys have never served in the military. You got people who have never served in the military that will join these militia groups and wear all the gear because they really wanted to be in the military, but they were too scared to actually really join up and sign up. Then you got some of them that really were in the military. They leave the military and they join militia groups. They join the police department forces of this country so that they can execute their racism and their authority in their mind and their agenda on those that they see are beneath them. This is why Donald Trump got into office, folks, because he represents the manifestation of the deep-seated racism, prejudice of white America. This country was built on it. You see, America would have never been built if it was not for black people. And those guns that they carry, the outfits that they have on, it's all symbolism. It's executing the fact that I'm white, I'm in control, I'm boss, we can do what we want to do. None of these groups that went up to Michigan and other groups around the country that have done the same thing. We have heard no reports of them getting their guns removed. We have heard no reports of them after they left the rally being arrested. You heard no reports of the government, FBI or otherwise, saying, we got to check them out. We got to examine who these people. Look, they already know who these people are. I believe the FBI about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4 or 5, came out with a report saying that there is an uprise and an uptick of white supremacist groups in this country. They know who these groups are, but they still exist. Meanwhile, the Black Panther Party was infiltrated and destroyed from within because they were able to use black folks who look just like us to sell us out. They were able to bug them, infiltrate, create division within the ranks. Pro and tail pro. Counter intelligence shit that they were doing and trying to destroy. And it was J. Edgar Hoover who said that I will never allow there to be a black messiah. That was J. Edgar Hoover. This is the history of this country. Don't ever forget it. And it was Ronald Reagan, along with this Assemblyman Don Mayford, of a representative of Piedmont, who said no weapons should be loaded within a incorporated area. And when they did this, you didn't hear anybody talking about, what about the First Amendment rights? You didn't see any white people come out. You didn't see any white militia groups come out at that time saying, wait a minute, the Black Panther Party has a right to bear arms. The Black Panther Party has a right to liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness. You didn't see or hear any groups like the NRA come out, because the NRA has been around for a long time. Where's the NRA when the Black Panther Party needed them? But I bet you if those guys, those good old boys at the State House in Michigan would have been harmed by their police, the NRA would have come out and made a statement. Hell, the damn president, Donald Trump, has made his statement. He called them very fine people, very good people, like he did in Charlottesville with those racist tiki torch carriers. Black people, let me tell you something. We're already living in shelter and in even before the coronavirus showed its naked eye and face. We have always been terrorized. The Ku Klux Klan would go into the homes in the South and pull black men out and hang them. Emmett Till was brutalized. Black men were hung like fruit throughout the South, like strange fruit, as Billie Holiday sings about. We had something called the Green Book, where if you were traveling as a black person across this country, you had to follow the Green Book to know where you could eat, where you could sleep, where you could use the restroom at safely. Because if you did not, you could be subject to mistreatment in this country. Now, for those of you out there that are going to say, well, come on, Info Man, it's the 21st century. Black folks, y'all can dance, y'all can sing, y'all in movies. Hell, we gave you your first black president. That don't mean shit. You still got black people being mistreated in this country today. Like I just told you, a young black male got shot for jogging. A black doctor in Florida, I did a story about it, course, YouTube took it down. That's what they do. They'll probably take this one down too. Make sure you share the goddamn video. A doctor in Florida treating the homeless who works at the Miami University Medical Center. He's an internal medicine doctor. He gets arrested minding his own business. No, he didn't get arrested. He got handcuffed by a police officer and harassed, minding his own damn business. Y'all saw it right here. I interviewed 2 young men who were harassed by a cop because they wore a mask while walking in Walmart. When black people go out across this world, we're subject to mistreatment. Even today in the 21st century, tell me right now, how many of y'all black folks in the chat room and listening, how many of you really feel safe getting in your car and driving across this country and driving into places like Louisiana, in the back roads I'm talking about, not the civilization roads, the back roads, driving through Alabama, driving in Florida. I remember many years ago, the Florida state troopers would stop black people in those back roads and in roads, period, because they thought you were a drug dealer bringing drugs in. I'm telling you right now, I do not feel comfortable personally getting in my car and driving across this country into some of these back roads and hick roads of this country. Once you get outside of places like New York, LA, San Francisco, Atlanta, Georgia, once you get out of these urban settings, America is a frightening place to drive through as a black person. Oh, yes. You're subject to a mistreatment. I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from. I'm feeling it today. Because today is the anniversary of the Black Panthers when they went up to the State Assembly building of Sacramento, the capital of California. They exercised the same rights as the yahoos right here. And they got their whippings taken. They got questioned. The whippings were given back to them. And when they left the state building, the police stopped them again and questioned them and arrested some of them, or all of them, mishandled them, mistreated them. Ronald Reagan, and along with his legislation, they changed the laws in California because they were frightened by black people being armed legally. So that's why I say that if that had been black people in the state of Michigan, even if they were following the law, I believe that you would have saw chaos. You would have saw black people being arrested. They would have been called a black identity extremist group. Oh, yes, they would have. See, this sort of shit is happening because I'm going to say it, tell the truth. These people feel emboldened because they've got a president that executes and reinforces the racism. And he throws out dog whistles and coded languages all the time to his people, saying things, oh, those are good people out there. He's basically telling them, I'm with what you're doing. What you're doing, I'm with it. Even though Donald Trump as a president is supposed to be for the people, about the people, but guess what? He's about certain people. He damn sure ain't about us. And don't be fooled by him having Jerome Adams getting up there talking about, do it for your mama, do it for your papa, do it for your. Bullshit. Then you've got Uncle Ben Carson. He's a doctor, a man who was a brilliant surgeon. And he's got Ben Carson in charge of the housing department. Put the Negro in the house. Put the Negro in the house. Put him in charge of the housing. Because, you know, black people, we need housing. And let's take the doctor, put him in housing. And you've got those buffoons, Diamond and Silk, who got booted off of Twitter. And I think Fox News has gotten rid of them. Did you see Donald Trump cape for them, folks? Did Donald Trump come out and say, I want to say shout out. Did he say anything about Diamond and Silk, how they got done wrong, how he wants them back? No, because like a lapdog, they were used like a lapdog, used as twos and foos. So, folks, I just want to remind you, that's what my show was about today, to show you, and I hope I did a great job of showing you through the illustration, the double standard in America. In California, we have no right to have, we cannot have open carry or conceal or whatever because of the Black Panther Party being oppressed. Black people, we protest, we use the law to our advantage, and it becomes our disadvantage because some people don't get treated the same. Remember when Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman's punk ass? They said that George Zimmerman was standing his own ground. That was the law in Florida. But nobody talked about, wait a minute, wasn't Trayvon Martin standing his own ground? A underage youth, 16 years old, a young man being chased or being stalked by a grown-ass man who was told by the dispatchers to, sir, stay down, let the police handle it. But he followed the kid. He was following he was following a child, a minor who was protecting himself. But they said to you and me that George Zimmerman was standing his own ground. Therefore, no justice for Trayvon Martin. It's crazy.
Tell the truth.
Must tell the truth. I want to thank you all for being here for this presentation. Let me say peace to Golden Melanin. No nonsense for coming through. Christopher Cobb, thank you for being here. Tiffany, thank you for being here. Cat PY2, thank you for being here. I was thinking about opening up the phone lines if anybody wants to call in and talk about this, but I may just come to a conclusion now. We got Phil's Good in the house. Thank you for being here. We got Lynn Cowles is ADOS. Thank you for being here. I need y'all to share this in your social media. I need y'all to share this video in your Twitter, your Facebook, any social media that you are a part of, because I don't think a lot of black folks today. Now, well, let me correct that. I don't think that some black people today realize that this is the anniversary of the Black Panther Party 1967 when they went up to the State Assembly of California and demonstrated. And out of that demonstration, the government in California changed the gun laws in America. Oh, no, in California, they changed the gun laws. This is why I said in the beginning of the show, if black people were to go out and buy guns legally, oh, you're going to get some real gun control real fast in a buck hurry. Thank you. No nonsense said this. I had to put 5 on it for this truth. Thank you, sister. Let me thank you for that.
Thank you for the super chat.
I appreciate the super chat, sister. Thank you again.
Thank you for the super chat.
Cat PY2, brother. It's good to see you. I think I might put a link. I've been wanting to see if this link would work. Maybe I'll put a link in Hey, thank you. Mary Jane's TV. Thank you for that, sister.
Thank you for the super chat.
Once again, everybody, check out Mary Jane's TV creation She's fantastic. If you want the latest and all the gossip that's happening in Hollywood, what's happening with the Atlanta housewives, all the things that are happening with black people in entertainment, she's got the tea. She's going to spill the tea for you. She's going to tell you the truth. Great channel. She's doing good numbers over there too, by the way. She's doing great numbers on her channel. Check her out. Give her your love. No Nonsense. If Sister No Nonsense has a channel as well, or anybody in the chat room, check them out. We got Cat PY2. Thank you for those.
Thank you for the super chat.
Those super chats again. PY2 has a YouTube channel as well. Check him out. Subscribe. What have you. But this is crazy. So this is what I'm gonna do. If anybody wants to call in, let me go right ahead and put the number up. Let me go right ahead. That's the number right there. Let me set it up right now. Anybody who wants to come in and talk to me about this issue for a moment before I call it quits for the day, you're welcome.
Welcome.
So I've got that firing up right there. The number is 605-313-5658, access code 57112. It's on the screen. Just look at the screen and you will be blessed. You'll get the information that's necessary. So let me set this up. So I'm waiting for anybody who wants to come in and talk to me about this for a little bit before I end it. But this is the hypocrisy. Like I said, this is the hypocrisy. I'm going to put that back up for y'all to see that again. The hypocrisy, they can show their arms under the law. Black people historically do the same thing and they change the laws or they still harass us. It's crazy. They can dress like they're military. I'm waiting for someone to call in. Don't be shy, folks. They can get up in the faces of the police and scream and yell, as you can see on the picture. They can set aside and take mementos and photographs and profile. They can say, hey, shit, I'm American. Trump's the damn president, and I can do whatever the hell I want. You're not going to keep me out of work. You're not going to tell me that I can't be outside and go to work, even though my ass can die if I get the COVID-19, possibly. And let me say this too. I put it back on the screen. Let me say this too. Black people, doing this sheltering in, I would encourage you to still go take a walk in the park, get some sun, because it isn't good for us not to have sun and vitamin D. So we need to still give our bodies energy along with eating a good diet and exercise to fight off this COVID-19. So don't, I know in California, we're still able to go to the park. I mean, still get some sun. That's very important. Now, let me see if anybody's called in. No one's called in. Come on, folks. 605-313-5658, code 571-128. Don't be shy. I'll keep it up for a little while longer before I end the presentation. Let me see. They can speed up Wuhan. Okay. Mary Creation said, information man, you spoke nothing but facts. I agree with everything that you had said. Thank you, sister. I'm going to read your comments. Let's see. We got Freegood. Mama Freegood. They can spin Wuhan. Okay, let me see. We got Sounder Saul. Yes, they key. Okay, let me see. Earl Owen says, well, in case of Washington State, it gets some rain. Okay. RV says, also shout out to Ramon Chip. Friends Gero. is a California longest serving Black Panther behind bars. Wow. Thank you for that information. I didn't know that. Good information. Anybody out there calling in? Okay, no one's called in yet. So let me read some more. We got Golden Melanin says this, and you want to stay connected to nature. It's good for, Now, I've talked a lot about COVID-19, folks, but this is the most important thing along with diet. Even though they want us to stay sheltered and in, and like I said before, black folks have always been sheltered and in, okay? Because we're subject to mistreatment when we walk the streets of this country. We are. Every day you are subject to some type of mistreatment. Remember, what was it, a year ago or two? I did a video on this. There was a family of a husband, a mother, and they had two kids. They went into one of these stores like a CVS or Walgreens or whatever store, and they accused the kids of stealing something in the store. And the police stopped the family with the kids. The brother was very polite with the police. They threw him up against the car, the van, put him on the ground, and he was saying, "Officers, you're hurting me. What did we do? What did we do?" They were accusing the children. This was all over, saying that the kids took something out of the store. And we all know that, yes, children sometimes can be sneaky, take a little piece of candy or whatever. They got accused over something nonsense and got mistreated. So what I'm saying is we're always subject to some type of mistreatment. Always in this prison that we're in, as according to Millie Fuller Jr., we are living behind enemy lines in this prison. So it's funny when you hear other groups of people, white people, talking about this being sheltered and in this lockdown. It's like being in slavery. It's like they don't know what real slavery is. They don't know what it's like. But what it shows you psychologically is that they can't handle, I'm going to tell it like it is. They can't handle what black folks have been dealing with for over 500 years that we've been in this country. Because there was a time in America, if you were a black, you could not go to certain neighborhoods. You bet not cross those railroad tracks into another neighborhood. There was a time that you were told if you saw a white person walking on the street, you were not to walk past them. You were to walk in the street. You were not to look in their eyes. See, there was a lot of black folks have been sheltered and in forever. We've been on lockdown forever in this country, and we dealt with it. What the hell you think Jim Crow was? They can't even handle a order from their governor to protect themselves from not catching the COVID-19. And because they're losing money, black folks have been losing money since day one. You had black men who couldn't find jobs. Black men that would be discriminated against, that wouldn't get the damn job. You would be more qualified than the other person, and you didn't get the job. Black people have always had to struggle without. Let's talk about government cheese. How some of us grew up off the government cheese, that big block of cheese that they came out with back in the day. Some of us grew up eating mayonnaise and syrup sandwiches. And you got these folks in Michigan, these militias talking about, oh, our life is being, well, welcome to the back of the bus where we've been for a long time. Checking for you. What's up? I see you can't get away from me too. Checking for you. What's up? I see you in Q's world. You can't get away from me in Q's world. I see you in the chat. Peace to you, sister. Another great supporter of the program. Now I need y'all to share this video. I took the gloves off today. I wasn't conservative. Share this in your social media so that other people can hear the message. As I said, how many people know that this is the anniversary of the Black Panther Party in Sacramento, California, 1967, going up there with arms within the law at that time, which is why we can't have our arms out like they do in Michigan, because they changed the law because they were afraid of black people arming themselves. I think you got a black gun club, I think in Florida or Georgia, called the Huey Newton Gun Club. Tell me if I'm wrong or right. There's even a gun club made up of black women. And believe me, the government is watching them. Oh, yeah. They're watching them. Because they don't like when we follow the law and arm ourselves. We got Brother Xavier. Where you been, Brother Xander? Where you been? I'm watching you too. Where you been? Brother Xander, where you been? I'm going to get on you if I don't see you over here more often. You can see I'm emotional because the double standard is incredible, folks, in this country called America. That's why I reject this notion that they've been putting out in the media that because of COVID-19 that we're all in this together. Let me see if someone's on the line. Is someone on the line there?
This is Golden Melanin.
Okay, I'm sorry that I had you waiting so long. I went on one again, but go ahead. You had a chance.
No, I just called in.
Okay.
I just called in.
I'm on the phone too, if anybody can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Now, I got two sisters on the line. I'm gonna let both of y'all speak. But before I do that, so far you heard my presentation. You saw how I made the comparison and the contrast between what's happening now and what happened in the past, and what still happens to us today. With all that I've said, you ladies have the floor now. Let us know how you feel about it. What are your thoughts about it? And is it a damn double standard?
Oh, absolutely. Always has and always will be, because it's in the fibers of America. Mm-hmm. And this current situation technically should be a cakewalk for black folks, because, as it was said earlier, we know what it's like to go through without having. We know what it's like to be locked down or sheltered in or whatever they call it. So technically, this is nothing for us. They feel the pressure because they're so addicted and used to their white privileges. So we really, that doesn't really apply to us. Right. What they're talking about, because they don't have our best interest in mind in the first place. Right. But this is a time for us. We should be flexing our muscles, because this is nothing compared to what we have been going through and are going to continue to go through in this country.
Right.
But yes, it's definitely a double standard. Absolutely, 100%. And it always will be a double standard.
I totally agree with you. You're on the 100% money. Let me, Sister Melanin, I'm glad you called in. I was hoping that someone would call in just to give their point of view. It's very important. We have another sister that's on the line. Give your name. Where are you at? If you're still here.
This is No Nonsense.
Oh yes, No Nonsense. Yes, doing great, man. I'm glad to hear you. Fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted to just call in and say that I enjoyed this show. I had to turn my volume down a couple of times because you was real excited. But I get it. I get it. I just wanted you to know that I really stay in the background. I don't talk too much. I just usually be in the chat. But yeah, of course it's a double standard. There's no way. Like when I came to the States, I lived in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
So people like that is all around. Like everybody that people like what those guys did today is all around Michigan.
So
it's like no big secret.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. This group, they call themselves the Liberty. Have you heard of them before? Are they a new group, or or were they in existence at that time? This group that calls themselves, what is this? This American Patriot Rally that was being sponsored by they call themselves the American Liberty, and they're pushing the Donald Trump America Great Again stuff too.
Well, I personally haven't lived in Michigan since I was 16, and thank goodness. Well, no, since I was 18. I take that back. Since I was 18 when I went into the military.
Okay.
But what they do is most of them, they'll have a name, and then, like, if people start finding out about them, then they change their name. So they could have been around for a while. I haven't heard of them.
It's called the, let me just say this correctly. The group is called the United for Liberty. That's the name of their group. And they called, when they did what they did, their little code name was Operation Gridlock when they did what they did. So interesting, but this is the thing. I've said this before. If black folks were out here in these streets, as a lot of these folks have been out in these streets protesting their distaste for these lockdowns, I just think we would be handled a hell of a lot different.
Oh my God, we would have got beaten up. Somebody probably would have got shot. Like, to be that close in a officer's face and be black, no, that's not heard of.
Yeah, let's see this one more time.
Not unless they beating you up.
Right. Now, he's all up in their face, screaming, and there's others screaming and yelling. And to me, this is a perfect example of white privilege and the fact that they can get away with this because they are seen as Americans. They are what America was trying to build itself on, a government structure that is in the favor and in the best interest of the white male.
Right, and people always want to go to the Constitution, but people have to understand that when the Constitution was made, it didn't even have people of color in mind. It was for us. So when people be like, oh, it's in the Constitution, like, people of color, we wasn't even considered human. Remember, we was what was we, 2/3 for every... we was considered like cattle, wasn't we? Like every 2/3,
2/3 or 3/3 human being, and when they would look at black people as a commodity. They would compare us. There was no difference between us and molasses, tobacco. We were on that same level of value, you see. And so this is the thing that I was trying to drive home here is that
actually was the first trading.
Right.
You know how they have the Dow? Slaves was actually the first trading system that the Americas has. Right.
And see, this is the thing I was trying to drive home today. Thank you for that too. Is the fact that white people in America, there's white people that are poor. Yeah, they do exist, but white people overall, they have generational wealth, and white people overall do not want to deal with and can't handle losing their generational wealth and losing their grip on control, because you don't see a lot of black people out here in these protests in different states around the country, in the beaches. You don't see us out there doing all that yapping and protest because we have always had to. And think about it. The media is saying that we're the ones that have it. So the media is saying. So, but yet we don't see black people out here saying, wait a minute, we're the ones being, because we have always known that we've had to adapt. White people have never had to adapt in this world.
Well, the last time black people with the quote unquote Black Lives Matter thing, when they were doing all that protests and stuff like that, a lot of people don't understand that they were doing a lot of facial recognition on that. A lot of people don't understand that they were getting records for that. Right. That was the start of their criminal history.
Right. And remember, remember in Ferguson, a lot of the activists, particularly the black male activists, they all got killed. They went missing. There's no real investigation. One of them was also put in jail. A lot of weird stuff happens to us when we exercise our rights under the law.
And then George Soros was financing that. If you do any research on him, that should have got that was a red flag for me. I should say, what?
Yeah,
okay.
He's a main financer of the Black Lives Matter movement, which is no more than what we call social engineering. Yes.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And what's that guy that's the face of it? Oh my goodness, what's that dude? He always wears that blue vest. He supposedly just came down with COVID. What is his name? He always has that blue vest on.
Are you talking about Alex Jones or something? No, not Alex Jones.
No, of the Black Lives Matter.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know because I really don't keep up with Black Lives Matter. Ever since I've realized that they're a front.
This is when they were a bit right. Okay. It was a front. When I realized it was a front too, but from the research I've been getting done and things like that, it's something big that is about to happen. Because my thing is, they always saying on the news, which you really have to watch with a grain of salt. They're always saying on the news that there's not enough tests. Yes, D-Ray. Thank you so much, Miss Sonia. D-Ray.
D-Ray was the name? Okay.
They're always saying that there wasn't a lot of tests to go around.
Mm-hmm.
But all these celebrities, quote-unquote celebrities, is coming down with it. And from what I'm gathering, it's some big stuff that's is going down, and it started with that Epstein and that pedophile stuff.
Well, when I tell you I'm going to be doing a podcast about Donald Trump, I'm going to which shows you who he's locked up with. And
my goodness.
Yeah, he's
have you seen the fall of the cabal?
Right. Well, Donald Trump is part of one. I was hanging over on my main man, Brother Sanchez channel. Check out Brother Sanchez. He gets into the sciences and stuff like that. Donald Trump has the reason why Donald Trump still is existing in terms of his money and his businesses is because he was bailed out by Wilbur Ross. Wilbur Ross has a connection to the Rothschild family. He's a Rothschild. You don't have to be born into it. If all they have to do is tap you and reinform that you are a part of their clan. And Wilberforce controlled big time money, big time banking systems, and he gave Donald Trump. He helped Donald Trump out when no other bank would give him any loans. And Donald Trump turned around and made him a Secretary of Commerce. And look, Donald Trump, when he was running around talking about he's not an insider, he's nothing but an insider. But I'm going to get into that at a later date. And also, I don't know how true this is, sisters and every brothers out there listening. I got a video that I got off of Facebook, but I'm kind of like wondering, is this real or is this not? Because on Facebook, there was a video going around where, you know how Donald Trump, when he gives these press briefings at the White House, and while they were setting the room up, they're setting the cameras up and they're moving around. There were two white guys in the room before anybody was in the room, and they were talking. And maybe they didn't realize that their cameras were, or their audio was not dead. And they were in the room saying, we got our vaccine. We got our vaccine. You got your vaccine. So basically the video was alluding to the fact that there's already a vaccine for COVID-19, and that apparently
it's already a patent for it. It's been a patent since 2017.
Right. And so when you look at Donald Trump and Michael Pence, they don't never wear a mask. And Michael Pence went out to the Mayo Clinic, didn't wear a mask. It makes you wonder, are they not wearing a mask? And they even said that Donald Trump has been around other diplomats who have COVID-19. It makes you wonder, do they actually really have a vaccine to this? and they're just playing this out.
Let me say this.
They got something going on.
A lot of people talk about. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean
No,
to cut
go ahead.
you.
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm listening.
My thing is, a lot of people, they talk about Trump, right?
Yes.
But let me tell you something. I'd rather have Trump than Pence. Pence is 1,000 times worse than Trump.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that too.
Do some. All you gotta do is just a little research. You start doing a little research, and then, like you say, you go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
And they're all pawns and puppets. Let's just get that out there. They're all pawns and puppets.
Yeah.
Donald Trump don't run nothing but his mouth.
Right.
Trust.
But I just wanted to put that out there because I do find it interesting that Donald Trump and Pence and a lot of the people in his administration, you don't see them wearing the mask either because they're making everybody in the White House get tested to keep a controlled environment for them, or do they actually have the vaccine that we don't know about? Because these two guys who were setting the room up, I'm worried. Is it real or is it not real? But they were speaking and saying they got some type of vaccination already.
And you know what else I be thinking about too? As far as vaccination, I don't understand why people are listening to Bill Gates. He's pushing these vaccines so much, he ain't got a MD, PhD, a PA, a LPN, a RN. Like, that got to make you wonder.
No, this is
why is he always pushing it?
I'll tell you, let's go a little bit deeper, sisters. Let's go a little bit deeper. Check this out. Bill Gates, okay, he's a computer guy, right? So all of a sudden we got a computer guy telling us about medicine and vaccines and like he's a damn doctor. He's not a doctor, but check this out. This is how you know he is full of crap. Because do you know that Bill Gates does not allow his children, listen to me now, he does not allow his children
I already know
to take vaccines. So if
don't you know that Mark Zuckerberg, every time he gets on Facebook, he covers his camera.
Right.
He covers his webcam. So I already know where you was going with that,
So ask yourself this: if Bill Gates does not allow his kids to be vaccinated in any form or fashion, he's against it for his own kids, then why in the hell is he pushing it on the continent of Africa? And why in the hell is anybody listening to him? He's not relevant.
Exactly. And that's another thing I was saying. Every time he's talking about vaccines, you don't see him with no little white kids. It's always little black kids.
Right. And remember the French had said that they wanted to take their vaccine experiments over to Africa. Then I know what's the brother by the name? He's got a big, huge channel, brother. Maya. He's a brother from Ghana. Yeah, goes by the name Ghana Baby. I know that brother. Check this out. He did a video in which he says in some of the countries in Africa, like Ghana, they're telling these scientists to get the hell out because they're saying they're bringing vaccines to our country for stuff that we're not even sick with. So think about it. In the continent of Africa, black people don't even really have these sicknesses that they tell you that they have, but then they bring the vaccines over to give to them when the Europeans have this sickness, and then when they give them these vaccines, guess what happens? All of a sudden, the Africans have the sickness, right?
Did you read this article that when COVID first started, it was an article, and I think a lot of people missed it, but it was an article that was saying, why isn't it so big in Africa than everywhere else? I was like, oh, so you just putting it right on out there that you're trying to kill people in Africa. Yeah. Because they couldn't understand why a lot of people weren't getting sick from the COVID in Africa.
Well, remember in the beginning, sister, a lot of the cases that they did have in the continent, most of them were people who were coming from outside the continent, traveling into the continent. that were the ones bringing it.
Correct.
Europeans, Asians, and what have you. So now that they're saying now that in Africa it's starting to spread, well, and once again, just like what happened to the native people in America, same thing. Other people come into the continent and give it to the people. They didn't have it. It was given to them by, I call them intruders.
You know, that's how that Ebola spread too. If I look at a lot of different. If you really want to know what's really going on in the world, just look at different countries' newspapers. Because in Africa, they were actually beating up the AIDS, not the people that were supposed to help them, because they were spreading Ebola.
Right.
They went over there saying that they were helping, and they found out that they were spreading it, and they were really hurting them people over there.
Right.
And why? And because Africa is always something with Africa, because the U.S. want their resources, plain and simple.
Right.
So they always doing something over there. And do you know, now they doing a lot. I'm looking at Puerto Rico. They doing a lot of stuff is happening in Puerto Rico and in Haiti.
Well, check this out too. There's also reports, and I was going to do something on this too. Black people in Great Britain, so they say, they're saying that they're hitting in high numbers of getting Corona-19. Then when you look at the favelas in Brazil, where a lot of black people live, that's the black country. Nobody wants to admit that. They're saying that in Brazil, they're not even testing. They're not even treating people, because I'm going to say this as clear as day. I believe they want those black people in the favelas. They want the black people of Brazil to disappear. I'm going to say it as in coded language. They want them to disappear. Why? Because Brazil is a black country, and they've been trying to get rid of that black blood out of Brazil. That's why they brought Europeans over there. They bring in other groups over there to get rid of that black blood that they want to get away from and deny. And I think that because there's reports coming out of Brazil that people are catching hell in the favelas, and people are just basically staying home in the favelas doing what they would already do, and they're dying because nobody gives a damn about those folks that are living in the favelas of Brazil, and nobody's talking about it.
Exactly, and they're not going to push that in the U.S. media, because you know they already have an agenda.
Right.
They're not going to push that over there, because if people don't do research outside of the U.S. and look at other countries, they're not going to know that.
Right. Sister Melanin, you've been sitting back listening to the conversation. You have anything you want to add?
Sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
No. This is not about sorry. I want both of y'all to speak, but I just want to know if she has anything that she wants to add, because she's been. I mean, you're saying you're putting a lot of dimes out there, sister. I mean, you're dropping knowledge. But Sister Melanin, you want to add anything to this? Is she still there? Are you still there? Sister Golden Melanin, are you still there? Okay. I think that she might have gotten off the line, but no. I mean, you're saying some powerful. You're making powerful points.
And I love this platform because it's a lot of it. You see so much, you see so much mess on YouTube, that when I find platforms that not only I can get information from, but I can share information, that's what it's supposed to really all be about. Right. The other stuff is a distraction to me.
Or wait until I drop this one on y'all about there's a couple, I think it was last year, there was a film festival, I think Sundance Film Festival, that came out with a documentary where you had members, these Africans as they call themselves, that are still alive, who admit that they purposely gave HIV/AIDS to black South Africans, because at that time during apartheid, they said that they were in a battle to suppress the black people of South Africa, who were at that time, as we all know, they wanted to get back, they wanted to control of their country. And you've got these individuals still living, just like you got Nazi soldiers, right, in the day, who came forth to admit that they were purposely giving us stuff. That's why that's why you can have black people and people alike out here saying that there's something not right about this COVID-19. There's something that doesn't smell right.
I'm just happy a lot of people are finally waking up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm excited about. Well, we're living in exciting times right now because, what's done. My grandmother used to always say, "What's done in the dark is going to come to light."
Going to come to light.
A lot of things that's coming to light, and I'm glad people are waking up because it's if you think it's crazy now, just hold on. It's gonna get worse.
Right.
Trust. And
right.
And I don't know if people believe in a higher power, but I do. Just stay prayed up and keep looking towards the Most High. That's the only thing I can tell you because it's going to get worse than what it is. I don't understand why people are so crazy about not leaving their house. I'm a homebody, so this is another day to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me say what's up to Omega Dreads Gaming Channel. Peace to you, brother. It's always good to see you when you come over. Earl Owens, we've got the Noten. We got the family in the house. In the house, I'm glad to see Cat PY2 in there. Let me just say this. I just think that black people, talking to my people now, I think we still should go out and get some sun because that's a part of our health as much as our nutrition. Eating the right foods to energize ourselves. Yes. So even during these times. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We do need sun. And with this COVID, one thing that I like being on social media that they won't tell you on the television is that is ways to treat it without what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's saying take your vitamin D, and they're saying that that I guess when you get it, it's like pneumonia times 10, and I had pneumonia before years ago. Years ago, that's when I wasn't eating right and wasn't doing a lot of stuff, and they're saying that like it feels good when you're laying down. But they try and tell people you need to get up and walk around. Mm-hmm. You need to get up and walk around. A lot of these hospitals is not doing what they're supposed to do. It's a lot of nurses and doctors quitting, and it's a lot of doctors getting fired for going on Twitter and saying, hey, this is what it really is.
Right. Well, Donald Trump, and I said this before the other night ago when I was on, Donald Trump is lying and telling the world that they've done more tests than any other country, that the medications are coming along, blah, 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 blah. Just a lot of lies. And, we should really, I'm going to say this right now, listening to Donald Trump and his administration and following what he says is a detriment to your health, your mental health, and your physical health.
Of course, anybody that's going to say inject some bleach or stuff into you. Now, anybody with common sense know you just don't do that. But guess what? The CDC and poison control, they had an upswing ever since he said that. Mm-hmm. You would think. But I always tell, me and my husband, we have 5 grown adult daughters. Mm-hmm. And we tell them all the time, common sense ain't always common.
No, it's not.
Keep your eyes open, and you have to look, because anybody with just a thimble full of sense would know not to inject some cleaning supplies in you.
Right. But the fact that he said it and he can turn around and say, oh, I didn't say this, I didn't say that. It's just we're living in some crazy times.
I think it's exciting time because a lot of stuff is getting revealed that wasn't revealed.
Right.
So that's why I say it's exciting time. Now, is it bad? Yeah, it's horrible for some people, you know. And I live in Georgia, and Georgia was one of the first ones to open back up. They didn't open up the malls and stuff like that. I said, okay, I'll holler at y'all in July.
Yeah, but check this out, though. You live in Georgia. Maybe you can answer this for me. I've been hearing from black people, whether it be on media, what have you, that live in Georgia, particularly Atlanta, of course, that are saying that, first of all, they believe that Governor Kemp doesn't really care for black people in general, and that they feel there's some conspiracy for why he opened up certain types of businesses that he knows black people frequent.
I'm going to tell you why.
And there's black people who think that he wants black folks to get the COVID.
No. What happened is that when like self-service, like gyms and barbershops and beauty shops and stuff like that, what happened is that everybody had to go on, disability, workers' comp.
Right.
And they did not have the money to pay all these people. That's number one. And number two is exactly what you said, too. Because who really owns, like, the barbershops, the beauty salon, the things that they're opening up, because they haven't opened up, they just opened up the mall, things like that, but it is geared toward lower income people.
So,
and most of the lower income people that's in Georgia are black.
So if we take it, if low income black people, or black people in general go to these particular, because we know certainly black people of all economic backgrounds go to these barbershop, go to a beauty shop, go to these type of services. Correct. If they open up those particular businesses and then massage parlors and whatever else, and we frequent those kind of businesses.
Yeah, like that's essential.
Right, that's not essential in my opinion. That's not
essential.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I look like I got a unibrow right now, but I will continue to have one until I feel like that, it's safe.
Right.
Now, I wasn't one of those people that went out and had to buy all this bleach and toilet paper because that stuff you should already have at your house. So I'm looking at people like, well, what was you cleaning with?
Well, see,
that was what I was looking at. I was like, y'all wasn't cleaning before this?
Right. One of the things. One of the things I think that we can learn from this situation, especially as black people, is that we need to be better prepared. We need to take emergency measures a lot serious.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, and I think I'll do a whole different show on that. But I think that we should learn that maybe if we took it for granted the first time, that maybe we now should take it serious when it comes to preparing ourselves for these type of disasters and what have you. Let me say peace to NQ World. We got Brittany Dunn who's come in the house. Thank you for being here. We had someone checking for you, came in the house, and there was somebody else I wanted to say what's up to. I think Miss Be Awake. I said peace to her. Miss Be Awake is in the house. And then we've got Sanda Sa. I'm not saying that name right, but I'll just say peace to her in the chat room itself. But we got some really good people that's come into the chat room. I appreciate you all coming in. If you're just coming in now and you didn't hear the beginning of the show, please go back and listen to some of the beginning of the show, because a lot of people don't realize that today is the anniversary in which the Black Panther Party in California, coming out of Oakland, California, went up to the state capitol, which is Sacramento in California. They went up there with arms as a protest for the mistreatment of black people. And as a result of that, they had their guns taken. They were harassed. Their guns were given back to them. But then later when they left, the police followed them and rearrested them and re-harassed them. And I did that in comparison to what you see in Michigan and other places like it, where you got these militia groups that went into the state house with guns. They caused a ruckus. People that the legislative members, they wore, I guess what you call, some of them, not all, but some of them wore, bulletproof vest. They got all up in the face of the police in Michigan. Let me show you these quick pictures right quick before as I get ready to come to a conclusion of the program. So they wore this gear right here. And then they were all in the hallways. I played some of the chanting earlier in the show, and you'll catch that. They were up in their faces, showing their disdain for what they feel is a violation of their rights to be out and about, and they don't want to be locked down. And none of them got roughed up by the police. None of them got arrested or had their guns taken away. And my main premise of the show today is that if it was black people who did this and we followed the law and did it, I think that it would have ended very different. They would have probably arrested us, roughed us up, called us thugs and everything else but a child of God. So that was the premise of my show today. And no nonsense, if you're still on with me, I want to thank you for calling in, sister, and adding to the show today and the flavor. You have any last words that you want to say to the people out there?
No, not really. I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for allowing me to call in. Anytime I see you in any other chats, you have been just so nice to me, and I really, really appreciate that.
Right.
I really do. I don't take that for granted because it's so much fighting and arguing that it's just refreshing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And sister, go ahead. No, that was basically it, and I was just, I was happy that you allowed me to call in, and that I learned something from you, and hopefully somebody in the chat learned something that they didn't know before. Right.
It's all about information. We have to spread information, but once you get the information, you have to do the research. A lot of people, and now let me just say, I won't say a lot, but
some
black people, they don't want to do the research. They want it spoon-fed to them.
Well,
and
I think
I'm
it's
just glad
important.
That
let me just give everybody this advice. Not to tell everybody what to do. It's grown folks. But I think you should take the time. Every week, I read a lot of articles. I get on the computer. I read articles. I follow people that I respect. And I try to take in information as much as I can to find out what's going on out here. Now, earlier in the show, sister, how many people know about the young brother that got shot by two yahoos, like those protesters?
I did.
You did
it
because
was a father and a son.
Right.
I do because I'm like you. I read.
Right.
I like to read. I read everything. I read stuff that's in the U.S., stuff that's not in the U.S. because knowledge is power. It really is.
Right.
And you know,
information is power.
Right. Knowledge is power. And then you had the incident in Rancho Cordova, California, where you've got a road police department. Oh, God, I'm going to get into that, too. But we've got to read because there's a lot of things that happens to us that goes under the radar, which is why I said black people, we have always been living under a lockdown in a sheltered in. Some of us just don't realize it, and some of us do. That's why it's laughable to me to hear groups like the folks in Michigan and white folks talking about this is slavery. What are you talking about as slavery? Y'all didn't had privilege for all these years.
Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Forever. Yeah.
And they had privilege.
Right. And
forever. That's why they don't know how to act.
Right. They don't know how to act.
That's why they don't know how to act.
Because they're losing money.
Because they're so used to it.
Well, because like I said before, sister, I said before and I was explicit. White people in this country have had privilege. They've had access to money and generational wealth. And now that they're losing money and they're feeling some of the pain that black people have felt in this country for years, they can't handle it. And because they feel superior and entitled to a certain way they want to live their life, there's, in a way, when they screamed out, they said it without saying it, but they said it. They said, you ain't going to treat us like you treat Negroes. Okay? Now, I'm sorry,
exactly.
I said it.
Basically, that's exactly what they did. Because you as a black man could have never, ever got that close and be yelling in an officer's face without getting either tased, beat up, handcuffed, or even shot. Because, now it's just if he was in fear. Whether you have a weapon or not, that's the thing that's going around with the police. I was in fear of my life, whether you had a gun or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's open season on our black men, and it's horrifying to me.
Well,
there's no way. That picture you just put up is no way that you, as a black man, would be able to get that close and them not just stand there. No way in heck.
Right.
And can't nobody convince me.
Right. Nobody can convince me of that either, sister. We're on the same damn page. So,
So thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I try to support your channel as much as I can. I love your content.
Thank you.
And I'll be seeing you around.
Yeah, you'll see me around.
You know me. I'll drop in and things like that. And everybody in the chat, hello to everybody in the chat. And thank you for the information that y'all give out even in the chat. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, everybody in the chat is on fire. I mean, folks, you get some great information in the chat. And I want to say peace to everybody in the chat, especially if you're a mod and you got articles or stuff. Drop those articles in the chat. We're here to learn from each other. Like I've said before in the past, my channel, I try to stay away from drama. I'm not into doxing people. I try to stay away from talking about other YouTubers as much as possible and getting into back and forth beef with my own people. That's not my thing. I don't get into a lot of...
I try to, too, but I get drug into some unnecessary...
Right.
Just because I try to show my black people love.
Yeah.
But you know how that is.
And I know for a fact, if I was doing that type of content, I'd probably have hundreds of people in here, but I don't do that.
Have 1,000 people in your chat.
Right. But I don't do
that. Because people like mess, and I'm going to be honest, every now and then, I'm good for a good old roast and gag, but it's to the point now that it went beyond that, and you got... You bringing people, family members in and slandering people's names. And I just know for myself, it's just easy to click off. I don't have to be in there. I can click off and unsubscribe and go about my business. But other people act like it's just the hardest thing in the world to do.
Right. Well, sister, thank you for being here. I'm going to get ready to sign off. I appreciate you being here. That was Sister No Nonsense.
I appreciate you, too. Thank you so much, and you have a great night, bro.
Oh, well, thank you, too. That was No Nonsense there. I love that sister. I met her over on Jay Dunn's channel. Check out Jay Dunn, JDUNN. Check it out. Sister goes real raw with her conversations over there, and that's where I met her and Mimi and a bunch of great folks over there that have been following my channel as well. I want to thank everybody again. Once again, do me the greatest favor by sharing the video on all your social media, because it helps to get the video out there. It helps for me. It also helps me promote the channel and get more people over here as well. So definitely do that, because I think this particular live stream I did today and program was very important, because I don't think there's a lot of people out there, or let me say, there's some people out there who don't know this history. And this is why I try to bring the information whenever I can. So with that said, everybody, thank you. Love you. Good night. If I didn't say what's up to some people, then we got my man Omega's Dread Game Channel. No Nonsense is in there. Checking for one. Brittany Dunn, Earl Owen, Shaka Y. Shaka. I hope I'm saying your name right. Shaka Y. Thank you for being here. Let me see. Who else do I have in this chat room that I need to. We got RY who came in, Lady M who's come in, NQ World's come in, Pro Woman, what's up? God, if you didn't see the whole video or see some of the video, Pro Woman, watch it from the beginning. You'll get a better sense of context of what we were talking about. Then we got Miss B Awake. Miss B Awake is in the house. We got to the fifth, Lady M again, and just a lot of great people that have come in the chat room. I'm reading up here to see if I missed anybody. And thank you for being here, everybody. I'm about to sign off here. Peace and love to you all. Peace. This is Information Man. Peace.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
The Information Man Show. The Information Man Show.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
The Information Man Show. The Information Man Show.
Tell the truth.
The Information Man Show.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man.
The Information Man Show.
Subscribe to his channel. Information is power.
Tell the truth.
Information is power.
Information is power. The Information Man Show.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
In the White House, I'm not gonna say his name.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Jackalope creatures.
The Information Man Show.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
In the White House, I'm not gonna say his name.
Information is
Tell the truth.
The Information Man Show. The Information Man Show.
Tell the truth.
Peace, everybody.